important that you get to say what you have to say.
Yeah, come on, man.
I'd like to hear what you have to say.
All right. All right.
I was scared when they sent me to prison. I was only 16 at the time, and they were sending me to adult prison. I think anyone would have been scared. I didn't know how I'd make it, or what I'd have to do in order to survive. Now I'm 30, they've moved me to 3 different prisons in the last 5 years. I'm not scared anymore. At least, not about the same aspect of prison that I was. Something else about it scares me now. Something I've noticed since I've been in. They don't teach young prisoners much in here about what they should do when they get out. About how to live outside of prison. Young people that get sent to prison are usually screwed up. That's what I see anyway. They're in some way screwed up. For whatever reason, they lack the ability, development, or just plain common sense to make it in free society. But while they're in here, nothing about that is addressed. Nothing is corrected. Sure, people sit in cells here and time is hard, believe me. But that isn't correction. That's why I don't understand why they call these places correction centers. That isn't what they are. That isn't what they do. During the years I've been in, I've watched a lot of people get out. People who were sent to prison when they were young, some younger than I was. They know even less about how to live in the free world than when they were sent here. When they were judged to be too screwed up to remain in society, most get sent right back to prison. My friend Dean only made it 2 weeks before he was arrested for robbing a coffee stand. Garrett stole cars for a month before they finally caught him, asleep in one. And Casey, he got arrested the evening of the same day he was released for beating someone up and taking their wallet. I got 5 more years left to do, but I wonder, what I'll be like when it's my turn? What will I do? I'd like to think that I'll do good, that I'll make it just fine. But everyone I know who has come back thought the same thing right before they left. The truth is, prisons, the way they are right now, don't teach young people much, except maybe hate and anger. And that is what scares me about prison now, the hold it maintains over those it holds captive, even after they've been released. I don't like the idea of coming back after I get out. I don't like being here, nor having to live like this. But I've learned to make it in these places. No matter what prison they put me in, I'll know how to survive, which is more than I can say about the free world. It is because of this that I know I'm lucky they moved me to this prison, and I found out through word on the yard about Mrs. Smith's class. She comes to prison each week and teaches us, not just schoolwork, but also other things about the world, beyond these walls. Things we wouldn't otherwise get the chance to know or learn. Prisoners in the other prisons in this state, they don't have anything like this. We know that the state doesn't pay her for what she does. That seems crazy to us. Why wouldn't they? Is it that they want people to come back? What Mrs. Smith brings into this prison, education, is important to us because we recognize it for what it is. It's hope. The only real hope I believe any of us have of making it in a world that, because of how long we've been locked up, it's now foreign to us.
Thank you. Great job, guys. We appreciate that. Thanks, guys.
Drill Marshal of Vincent Square. Bill Cole and Mindy Canole. Thank you.
Our next presenter is our keynote speaker. She's a Democratic member of the Washington State House of Representatives. She's a native of Oregon and has lived in the 21st District for over 27 years. She has been active in county politics in various organizations, such as the United Way, an organization committed to improving the quality of life for everyone. For 8 years, she served as a member of the Edmonds Community College Board of Trustees, and she's a co-founder and former chair of the Children's Campaign Fund. She's a past executive director of the Washington State Women's Council, appointed to the position by former Governor Dan Evans. As a small business owner, she was involved in importing Asian folk art. She is the parent of lovely twin daughters, one who lives in San Francisco and works for an environmental firm, and one who's a graduate student at Western Washington University. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very, very pleased and honored to present the Honorable Mary Helen Roberts.
Well, thank you very much for that introduction, and it's a pleasure to be here. It's an honor to be here. I'm a little sort of breathless or out of words after all that has been said and all that has been done. I come to prison often. I come to graduations and I come to discussions. And I guess maybe that's because I am a learner. And I never set foot in one of these buildings without learning something. And I learn most from those of you who live here. And those of you who speak your truth and share what you've experienced and share what's in your heart. I came here today with a few thoughts in mind. One that popped in when Carol was being introduced about what she wanted to teach. She really wanted to teach literature. Well, I'm also a lover of books. And if I could be a teacher here, I would want to teach children's literature. Because being a parent has been such a joy for me. And sharing with children storybooks. And I hope that, I think everybody needs some storybooks in their life, no matter how old they are. There's always these collections of the great books or, you know, these pieces of knowledge, but we all need to know about Ping the duck and what it took to overcome being lost from his family, or to be the little teddy bear Corduroy whose button fell off of his overalls, and to have a child in your lap to read these stories to is such pure joy. And if you who are here have missed this as children, you need to know these books and learn these stories because they're a source of fantasy and safety that all of us need in our lives. And if you are parents or someday become parents, I hope you will love telling stories and reading books to your children. I wanted to share also, for one thing, I'm a politician, and if people go on the scale of who they trust, I'm not much higher up than you guys or used car salesmen. Or, you know, politicians are not held in terribly high esteem these days. But we have a #1 politician in this country who I admire tremendously, and that is President Barack Obama. And throughout his campaign, and as a president, the messages that he repeats over and over are the message of change and the message of hope. And I think that's what this graduation is all about. The fact that you are earning certificates or earning credits is a reflection of your commitment to change. You are doing something different, and you are aiming to do something different with your life. So I extend to all of you the congratulations that this evening is all about. But the other thing is that I really need to make a request from you, and from the guests, from the parents, from the brothers, from the friends. Because I'm sort of a loner in the legislature. I'm not one of very many that hang out in prisons all that often. I'm also one of just a few that thinks that these institutions need to be changed. I think we're very fortunate right now to have a head of the corrections system that also wants to see change. Eldon Vale is doing a variety of things. I spent some time last week at Stafford Creek. I've also spent time at Purdy. And there's a new way of looking at things in a small part of the population, and that is to truly make these corrections institutions, not just prisons, but there are a lot of people who want this institution to do no more than to be an unpleasant place